this man is being protected by some godfathers. On the debate tonight, I'm joined by Manishankar Iyer. Thank you very much, Mr. Iyer. Also tonight, Mahesh Jetpalani, who's been spearheading the B.J.P.'s attack on the government on the Swiss bank accounts issue, is with us tonight. M.R. Venkatesh is a finance professional who is an expert joining us from Chennai. In detail, has been researching the whole Swiss bank secrets issue. My first question goes to you, Mr. Manishankar Iyer. In your view, is it not embarrassing that this question has to be asked by the Supreme Court about why this man, who apparently has had billions stashed away without a known source of income in Swiss banks, is living a free man in Pune?
Why is it embarrassing? They've asked a question, there's going to be an answer given.
And the source of his funds?
Yeah, it's also a point on which an answer will have to be given. Why is it embarrassing? I mean, we don't exist in order to make Times Now the premier investigator in the country. We know about these things, they are being investigated, and at the appropriate time, when the evidence is adequate, there will be action taken.
I have an enforcement directorate document which goes back many, many years, which actually says that the source of his money is very suspicious, originating from international destinations, proceeds of heinous crimes like terrorism, gun running, corruption, organized forgery, laundered money. These are all facts and documents with us. And there's $8 billion he's stashed away, and he's simply having a super luxurious lifestyle. And nobody knows what happened to the investigation against him. You don't find that surprising at all, Mr. Iyer?
The investigation is on Mr. Goswami, and I don't think the government of India is answerable to Goswami. It's certainly answerable to the Supreme Court, and there it will give its answer.
I'm asking a question.
You take the credit for everything that happens. You've suddenly decided that Times Now and Arnab Goswami are the gods that rule over this country, are the moral guardians of this nation. I don't accept your arrogance. I say, if the Supreme Court says that they wish to supervise any kind of investigation, they are within their rights to do so. And the government of India is obliged to answer the Supreme Court. They're not quite equally obliged to answer Times Now.
Mr. Iyer, you are far too flattering tonight. It's the Supreme Court, not me, which wants to know why the custodial interrogation of Hassan Ali and the alleged black money launderers has not taken place yet. But let me get a second voice in. Let me get in Mahesh Jetpalani tonight. You know, are we presenting the wrong precedent by letting India's biggest tax evader free? That's the question tonight, Mr. Jetpalani. What do you think of what the Supreme Court says and its ramifications?
But you know, we've already been saying it before in the Joint Task Force. We've taken up this issue of Hassan Ali. It's a crying scandal. I mean, you know, it's all very well for Mr. Manishankar Iyer to get his usual arrogant and ad hominem self and start taking on the media. But that's typical Congress evasion of actual issues which they have faced and confronted with. They don't want to face the truth. And part of the problem in this country is that you have a bunch of sycophants in the Congress who refuse to question their party and their government. There is not one congressman who will stand up and say that what this government is doing is wrong. This man has been at large since 2007. As you rightly point out, there's documentary evidence in the possession of the government, something which Mr. Manishankar Iyer should care to read instead of only attacking Mr. Kalmadi on the CWG, his pet hobby horse. He should look at other issues of corruption. There's documentary evidence saying that Mr. Hassan Ali's proceeds, which are stashed in Swiss bank accounts, are the proceeds of drug running. I hope Mr. Iyer has some anathema towards drug running. It also says that this is possibly arms deals, but I know Mr. Manishankar Iyer possibly is a little immune to that because he defended Rajiv on Bofors. But it's 4 years now, and this country is sick. And yes, Mr. Manishankar Iyer is in power today, his party is in power, so he can afford to be a little arrogant. But come the next hustings, and we'll see what
now let's not make it political.
His kind of response on television.
Let's not make it political. I'm going to let Manishankar Iyer respond, but I want to go to Mr. Venkatesh. I just want to point out before that there's an enforcement directorate notice which I was referring to. It's dated December 29, 2008, which reveals that the ED had proof of Hassan Ali's $8 billion stashed into Swiss bank UBS, which we are now told suddenly disappeared. We don't know where the money went. Mr. Venkatesh, do you have any clues? And what do you think of the Supreme Court picking up this case again today?
Arnav, the way Supreme Court is taking up cases after cases, I'm shuddering to think whether there is something called the bureaucracy and the executive to do something in this country. Be that as it may, we are all talking about press reports and other things. Here I have what is called the receipts budget of the Government of India. I'm on page 46, which gives tax revenues raised but not realized by the government. That means you have raised the notices on various people. You expect them either to pay or things that you have not been able to collect. Now this figure that I have, that Hasan Ali owes government 50,000 crores or more, comes from the statement of the government on August 3, 2009 in the Rajya Sabha. 2. In the famous senior citizens case, the government has filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court in July 2009 stating inter alia, Mr. Hasan Ali, Mrs. Hasan Ali and Tapuria owe government 72,000 crores. Now today with interest this must be more than 1 lakh of crores. As a chartered accountant I can tell you this has very serious interest repercussions. Minimum due should be 100,000 crores. But on this tax due statement that is presented before the parliament 2 days back in the budget, the government says all taxes due from non-corporate income tax assessees is at best 57,000 crores. Hasan Ali is not only missing in person, he is also missing from the budget details of the Government of India. So this is something very serious, and I hope that parliamentarians will discuss this in the budget and find out where is Mr. Hasan Ali figuring in, whether there is genuinely a tax due at all.
Because it's not my question to Manishankar here, Mr. Manishankar, it's also evident and so it's not a time-bound case. A question is therefore that a person ostensibly owes 72,000 to 100,000 crores. His source of funds is gun runnings and terror arms running, and he's simply a free man. Doesn't this set a very, very wrong precedent to all the taxpayers in this country? That you have one rule for Hasan Ali and one rule for the rest, everyone else. And it's the Supreme Court which is asking these questions. It's not Times Now which is asking these questions.
Yeah, my answer to you, Mr. Goswami, is that whatever Mr. Hasan Ali's wrongdoings, they have been going on for a very long time. And it is not Mr. Hasan Ali alone, but a very large number of people, including the corporate sector, which you are so supportive of, that has been responsible for avoiding tax payments and taking matters to the courts. There are, at the moment, it's 67,000 crore, but when the NDA was in power and I asked, it was about 1.5 lakh crores that was owing to the government on disputed tax cases. I don't think Mr. Hasan Ali should be spared. I don't think anybody should be spared, including those who own Times Now. I think the entire corporate sector of India are a den of corruption. And that the more we promote this capitalism, the more we are promoting crony capitalism. So please don't concentrate only on Hasan Ali. Please concentrate on him, but please concentrate on everybody else as well. And as far as the Supreme Court's orders are concerned, they will be adhered to by the Government of India. And I am not prepared to leave it to you or Mr. Venkateshan to decide what are the ills of our government.
Fact.
We will present those before the court and then let the court decide whether our answers are satisfactory or not.
Well, Mr. Iyer, I just want to point out to you, thank you very much for, for your observations there. The fact is, I also have documents here, facts to Ali's personal banker Marcus Grossman, 18th September 2001, which shows that the government knows that Hasan Ali wrote to a personal banker in UBS to rework the source of funds, which means this man, Indian citizen who's playing around in the Pune race course and owes the government of India 100,000 crore rupees, tried to hoodwink also international tax authorities by floating shell companies in Dubai. We know all of this. And yet he's a free man.
Yeah, I know all of it too.
Yes, so...
And the NDA government has known all of it too. And Mahesh Jethmalani's gods have known of it too. You're mentioning 2001. It was their government that was in office. These are international criminals whom it is not so easy to catch.
Okay.
We are attempting to catch them. And whatever answer the government of India has to give to the Supreme Court's questions and its directives will be given in the Supreme Court. What makes you imagine, Mr. Goswami, that you are a man of immense integrity and all the rest of us lack integrity? What is the self-righteousness that characterizes all your programs?
Mr. Iyer, I can speak for myself. You were absolutely right on the first. I am not speaking for anyone else. I'm just pointing out Swiss Bank UBS made Ali's account non-operational 2001 due to funds from weapons.
So let's investigate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's investigate it. So I want
instead of your thinking
Mr. Iyer, there's no need to. There's no need to personally attack me. I am a man of integrity. I can vouch for
Why
it.
not?
But I don't need.
Personal
So
attack.
the question is, Hassan Ali.
Evening after evening, you are setting yourself up as some kind of moral arbitrator of this country. I loathe this attitude on your part. You take this self-righteous, indignant attitude and you think that somehow all of us are answerable to you. We're not. Thank you very much. I want to listen to Mahesh Jethmalani and then my 10 minutes with you will be over.
Mr. Iyer, I'll let Mr. Jethmalani respond to that.
I want to listen to Jethmalani, not to you.
Thank you very much.
I want to listen to Mahesh Jethmalani.
Mr. Iyer, excuse me.
And there's no need to call me on your programs if you don't like me.
I've never said that. I'm simply asking the question about India's biggest tax fraudster. And it's a legitimate question to ask.
I told you what I think
Sure.
Now let me listen to Mahesh Jethmalani.
I will, if you allow me to allow Mr. Jethmalani. Mr. Jethmalani, Manishankar doesn't want to listen to me, but the question is obvious. We are not talking about a common criminal. Yes, Mr. Jethmalani.
Yeah, let's tone down the heat and all the anger over here. But fact of the matter is, Arnav, there has been a noticeable neglect on the part of the government in bringing Hassan Ali to book, and that is what was echoed by the Supreme Court today. The allegations against him have come in the public domain since 2007. Yes, the transactions go back, but they weren't in the public domain. They weren't in the knowledge of any investigating authority.
That's true.
In 2007, you've actually got evidence of him having an account in UBS in which over a period of time, a total amount of $8 billion has come in. Now, Mr. Iyer is right that don't focus only on one person, but here you have an a criminal whose Swiss bank accounts have an extremely large magnitude of money. I mean, $8 billion, even Mr. Iyer will admit, is no small amount. It's about 35,000 crores. Now, you've got the evidence here. Unlike the other, maybe corporate crooks, non-corporate crooks, bureaucrats, politicians of all ilk and parties, even their money may be stashed in Swiss bank accounts. But here you have a test case where you've got the name of the beneficiary, you've got the bank in which his account stands, you've got his account number. Why are you not, as the Supreme Court said, arresting this man? All he has been arrested for, and let me just tell Mr. Manishankar Iyer that he was absconding. He was absconding in the name of, in the house of a gentleman, a builder in Bombay called Yusuf Lakrawala. He was hiding there, and were it not for the efforts of a police officer in Bombay, a DCP in Bombay, this man would never have been brought to book. Incidentally, that police officer now has promotional issues. His promotion has been held back, and he has filed an application before CAT saying that because I recorded this man's interview while he was in police custody, I'm being victimized, I'm not being given promotion. Now, that's the kind of the conduct of the government. Not only are they not investigating Hassan Ali since 2007, I say there is no investigation. Yeah. And let me tell you one more fact. So not only are they not investigating Hassan Ali, they are also victimizing those who actually perform their duty in pursuance of evidence discovered against him, like this inveterate police officer in Bombay. Now, let me also tell you one thing. As far as the Liechtenstein accounts are concerned, a side issue, but also connected with the Swiss bank back money, the government told everybody, both in the public domain and on solemn affidavits in the Supreme Court, that we cannot disclose the name of the Liechtenstein beneficiaries, which we have now received from the German government, because we applied to them under the Double Taxation Avoidance Treaty, which mandates secrecy. Now in the Supreme Court, the government has done a complete turnaround. No. It says, no, we didn't. This is contrary to their sworn affidavits on oath, and somebody will have to be accountable for this. They've now said, sorry, we did not go under the DTAA to the German government. We went under the normal law, but the German government insisted on secrecy, of which they have come out with no evidence. So their own stand is contradicted.
I want to remind our viewers that the big picture vis-a-vis Hassan Ali emerged around January 2007 when the IT department, the ED, carried out raids on his premises. This is a man who is known internationally as the billion-dollar bandit. The billion-dollar bandit can't be playing on the Pune racecourse. That's a simple question tonight. If this continues, maybe it's an example of the problems that have set in. Mr. Venkatesh, Mr. Jetpalani, and of course, Mr. Manishankar Iyer. Thank you very much. We're going to follow this story. Whoever likes it, whether they like it or not. And that's it on the News Hour tonight. We'll follow that story and the relevant news and the big debate here on the News Hour tomorrow. Till then, good night and goodbye.